Okay, we have only a few sessions left, and there are still some things that we need to cover. We're going to jump to regression now, kasi ito guys this will be the springboard for your subject next term, yung sa FINSTAD nyo next term. The whole term you'll be discussing simple and multiple regression next term sa FINSTAD nyo, and then also time series. Kaya importanteng makapagsimula tayo ng discussion on simple and linear regression. Now I have already uploaded some files. Today we're going to only use Excel, and then next meeting we're going to use R. But I'm going to upload already a recording on R para medyo makapag-save tayo sa time, para medyo sana mapanood din yung video, so that next meeting sa Monday medyo mas smooth na tayo. Okay, have you seen this, guys? If you haven't, kindly download yung assumptions of classical linear regression. This is a PowerPoint slide. You have an Excel file. And yung wage.csv, we're going to use that when we use R. No, ngayon, Excel muna tayo. And nag-upload din ako ng add-in sa Excel, xrealstat, okay, for Windows and also for Mac. This is coming from this site. No? Ito, galing dito sa site na to. Okay, you'll see in a while why we would like also to have this, itong xrealstats. Okay, just in case you miss out on this, I'm going to paste the URL, although I think nilagay ko rin siya sa Excel, no? Yeah, you may wish to copy this, guys, para so that alam nyo, but I think I also pasted this, as I said, in our Excel sheet. Okay, real statistics using Excel. These are add-ins. So andito yung download, guys. If you're a Mac user, andito yung download niya. And then if you're Windows user, andito yung download niya. Although, as I said, guys, I also posted that here. Okay. I know short notice to, guys, pero may I know, guys, who among you have already installed this? Yes or no na lang muna para alam ko. If you have already installed this as an add-in to your Excel. If not yet, kindly type no. Yes, thank you, Dom. Thank you, Erica, Joycel, thank you. Okay, very good, very good. I really appreciate, guys, short notice, no, na gawa nyo kagad, no? Okay, for those of you who have not yet installed it, okay, thank you, thank you. Install, guys, sa Excel, not download. Different yung download sa install. When I say install, pag binuksan nyo yung Excel nyo, okay, sige, let's go through the process. Thank you, John, for that question. Okay, kindly open the file that I sent to you, Intro to Simple and Multiple Linear Regression. Okay, so in this file, you have okay, you have several worksheets here. Let me delete this. Okay, so we have the notes worksheet there, just a few notes about our lesson. And then you have here some worksheets that we're going to work on in the today and to be continued on Monday, because I don't think we'll be able to complete all of this. And then on Monday, we're going to also use R. So it's a combination of Excel and R, because I think Excel still has a place in data analysis. Okay. All right, so let's begin, guys, by first you have to download the xrealstat that add-in, that macro file, okay? This one. This is a macro file, XLA macro file. So either for Windows or Mac. So in Windows, guys, you have to go to File, okay, File, okay, then Options. This is where you will install the add-in, then add-ins. Okay, and then on the lower portion, you have here Excel add-ins, then go. Okay, this is already installed, okay, but I'm going to, let me reinstall this. So you go to Browse, guys, here. Initially, you won't find the Xreal stats here, okay, but we'll install it as an add-in. You go to Browse, and then you look for the location where you have your, where you saved your add-ins. For me, I save it here, FINSTAD, into the regression. I have it here, guys. And since I'm working on a Windows machine, I'm going to click this and then OK. And then that will install here. Okay. So you notice now that there's this now. Okay. Then OK. Then once you have that installed, you'll see now that your Excel, let's wait. Okay. You'll now see that there is an add-in here already. In your tabs, add-ins, and then this is now your Xreal stats. Okay. Now what happens when you close this? When you close your Excel file, I'll close it, and then I'll say, let's say, save na lang, save. So naka-close yung Excel file ko. Pag binuksan ko ulit yan, when I open it, okay, when I open it, guys, you notice na wala na naman yung add-ins dito, no? So, ang may bug kasi yung ano na to, yung add-in na to. However, we can resolve that. Okay. If you press Control M, okay, I think also in Mac it's Control M. Control M, guys, lalabas na yung Xreal stats. Okay, kahit nawala siya dito sa add-in. Okay, so first for the Windows users, can we check that, guys, kung may na-access na natin yung ano yung Xreal stats as an add-in, and then close it, guys. Sorry, thank you. Okay, sige. Bea, thank you. Sige, I'll repeat the process. Sige, So, file, options. No? File options. This is for this is for Windows. So yung mga Mac, sandali, kasi iba yung Mac, no? Iba yung interface ng Mac. File options. Okay. And then options, no? Dali, isulat ko dito para para hindi ko pala nalagay dito yung yung link, sorry. Control V. Is it still there? Hindi na. Ayan. Ito yung resource pack, no? I-copy paste nyo, guys, sa sa Excel sheet nyo para you know where to look for it. Real stats, no? Okay, so file, let me just write it, file, then options, then add-ins. And at the bottom portion, we have Excel add-ins. And after that, browse. Initially, no? Then where you save the okay, so I'm just writing here some notes. This summarizes the steps. So once again, you go to File, Options, and then Add-ins. And then at the bottom portion, you have here Manage. Iba-iba to, no? My COM add-ins, my XML. We're going to need Excel add-ins, then go. Now, as I said, guys, initially wala ito, no? XRealStat or XRealStats Win. Initially wala yan. So you need to press Browse, click Browse, and then hanapin nyo, guys, kung saan nyo sinave yung real stats, then i-open nyo yan. Once you have opened that, guys, lalabas na tong XReal stats dito, and then i-click nyo na yung OK. Once in-OK nyo siya, may lalabas na add-ins dito. Pag click nyo yung add-ins na yun, ando doon na yung, yung real stats. Now, the problem is, when you close your Excel again, hindi na automatically mag-open yung add-ins dito. So, what you do is, ang shortcut dyan, make sure, check nyo guys sa File, Options, Add-ins, Go, dito, no? Make sure na naka-check yung, yung XReal stats, no? Then, okay. Then, the shortcut is Control-M. Pag nag-Control-M tayo, ito na lalabas, guys, yung mga add-ins. Okay, so this, there are a lot of functionalities here na wala sa Excel. So, dagdag to sa Excel, guys. All right. Now, so far, guys, yung mga Windows users, kamusta? Ang suggestion ko, guys, i-close nyo muna ulit yung Excel file, and then when you open it, you'll see that wala siyang add-ins sa taas. Then mag-Control-M kayo. Then kindly paki-yes dito, guys, kung nag-work siya. Now, for the Windows users, saan nga ba yan? Ano ba yung, would anyone please, Windows user, anong tab nyo nakalagay yung add-ins? Sandala, David, ayaw gumana ng Control-M. Sige, let's resolve that, no? Sa Windows users, guys, Windows ka ba, David? Windows ang ginagamit mo? Sorry kasi dalawang, okay. Sa Windows, wait, baka hindi ko sure kung Control-M or Function-M. Eh. Okay, let's see first. Hans, ano ka? Sorry, ano ba yung tanong ko siya, David? Windows, ano? Windows, okay. Sige. Pag ayaw gumana, no? So another way to go about it, Hans, is pag ayaw gumana yung Control-M, parang i-repeat mo yung process, no? File, Options, ganito na lang pwede natin i-resolve dyan, add-ins, then go dito. Tapos i-uncheck mo muna, okay? Then okay. Tapos, balikan mo siya, no? Question, no? Babalikan mo siya, babalik ka dun sa file, Options, Add-ins, go ulit, tapos i-recheck mo siya. So, gano'n lang mangyayari, guys, no? Or ang shortcut dyan, let me uncheck this again, Alt-TI, okay. Alt-TI is the shortcut dun sa file, Options, Add-ins, go. I'm not sure sa Mac. Sorry guys, hindi kasi Mac ang ginagamit ko dito. Hindi ko kabisado yung sa Mac. So, i-click mo ulit. Yan. Click. Okay. So, possible na lumabas ulit dito yan, dun sa add-ins. Okay, so andyan dyan ulit. Or, subukan mo na without clicking yung add-ins dito, mag-Control-M ka ulit. Control-M. So, lalabas na yung real stats. So, guys, let's make sure first na na-access nyo. Shortcut to go to Excel add-ins. It's Alt plus T plus I. Okay, Windows to guys, no? So we will have to resolve this kung sa Mac. And my apologies to the Mac users. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it difficult for you or to neglect you. The truth is guys, hindi ko rin kabisado yung Mac version kasi I seldom use Mac. Meron akong Mac dito na yung malaki yung pang PC. Pero I don't use it. Ang ginagamit ko itong Windows PC. Okay, sige, pause muna ako guys. Sige, try nyo muna. Okay, and then yung sa mga Mac users guys, ano yung saan na natin makikita yung add-ins? It's in a hindi ko maalala yung yung tab dun sa Mac. Can somebody please share kung ano yung tab dun sa Mac? Na ando dun yung add-ins. Ayan, yes. Erica, thank you. Yes, it's tools. Nasa tools tab, no? Sa tools tapos ando dun yung add-ins. 'Di ba? Tama ba 'yon, Erica, Helen? May tab tayo na tools sa Mac tapos ando dun yung add-ins. And then I think the same yung process. Tapos sa Mac din control M din yung para ma-engage natin yung add-ins na 'yon. Okay, I'll pause for a while, guys. Na lang, chat na lang kung okay yung yung pag-access dun sa Excel add-ins. So you know what to do when you, for example, you close Excel and then when you open Excel, hindi nalalabas yung tab na add-ins, i-control M nyo na lang siya para ma-access nyo yung add-ins dun. Okay, so far okay ba, guys? Paki-chat na lang kung okay sa inyo, pause ko muna yung recording. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Anton. Helen, thank you. Okay, Dom, salamat. Okay, Joycel, thank you. James, salamat. Okay, good. Erica, salamat. All right, I'm happy that you were able to access. Gagamitin natin siya, guys, in a little while, no? Okay, so let's go back to our Excel spreadsheet. So I'll continue recording na. Hindi ko pala na-pause kanina. Okay, so let's go back to our Excel spreadsheet. Ito. Okay, so our last two topics will be on simple and linear regression, and then I'll add another topic on a special topic on how to access data from the internet using R and some functions which I hope will prove to be helpful to you in finance. No? Okay, so often guys, we have very important managerial decisions, and those managerial decisions are based on relationships between two variables. Okay, so for example, we'd like to predict or estimate sales given certain factors. Kunyari, magiging magkano kaya yung sales kung ganito yung advertisement natin. Okay, and managers are often asked to estimate or predict sales based on certain inputs. So yung ganitong problem, guys, ang ginagamit dito, yung process called regression. So another example is, can you predict the annual spending of a person on his credit card based on his annual income or based on his education? Or can you predict, guys, if a person will suffer from stroke using the factors, age, blood pressure, and if the person smokes or not? Okay, this type of modeling where you predict or estimate a particular variable, in this case sales, based on one other variable, advertising expense in this case, is called simple linear regression. Simple because you only have one regressor, one explanatory variable. Now, when you make use of two or more explanatory variables, then it's called multiple linear regression. I know that in your previous subjects, guys, you have had already. Let me just check, guys. Have you have you discussed regression in your prior subjects called, ngari, DSI-lytic, etc.? Paki-chat na lang, guys, kung yes or no. Kung na-meet nyo na tong regression, guys, kung if you have had lessons on simple and multiple linear regression. Meron na ba? Kasi I know that in your other subjects, na-discuss na to eh. Kindly chat please, guys. Kung meron na kayong, yeah, DSI-lytic, no? Si David lang. Okay. Nicole, thank you. All right. So I think since you took the same subject, no? Melanie, thank you. I'm sure you have met this topic. And dito mag-dive deeper tayo by making use of both Excel and R. And I'm sure you have not taken stepwise regression. Yun ang magiging additional natin, no? Okay. So when you talk of linear regression, guys, we're talking of we're discussing the relationship between two variables. Ang maraming pangalan dun sa dalawang variables na yan. Yung isa, guys, yung independent variable, which is also called predictor variable. Ito yung ginagamit natin na variable para i-explain yung dependent variable, which is the predicted or estimated variable, or also called response variable. Okay, or also called outcome variable. Okay, so ito yung discussion natin, guys. Okay, so some reminders here. Yung regression analysis, guys, is a by the way, guys, in your next term sa FINSTAD, whole term to, panay regression kayo, no? So it will be in greater detail. Kaya nga I want us na have a brief review of this going into your next term. So what does the regression analysis allow us? Dalawang bagay, no? It allows us to describe your variable being studied, the response variable, okay? Ito, or the outcome variable, or dependent variable. We're able to describe that making use of the independent or explanatory variable. Aside from being able to explain or describe the variable, the dependent variable, we can also estimate and predict it. Okay, so these are the two major things that we can do as far as regression is concerned. Now take note that regression analysis does not prove a cause and effect relationship. We're not saying here that advertisement is causing sales. Hindi. Hindi natin ina-establish yung causality sa regression unless talagang establish ito in other means, no? So we're not establishing causality in regression. What we're doing is we're looking at the relationships between them. So for example, is there a positive relationship between them? When I say positive relationship, pag tumataas yung isa, tumataas ba rin yung isa? Pag bumababa yung isang variable, bumababa ba rin yung isang variable? Yun ang positive relationship. Or negative, which means they move in opposite direction. Alright? So as I said a while ago, guys, hindi tayo nag-establish ng causality, but rather, ang tinitingnan natin doon is we're trying to look at the relationship between those two variables. So if we have only one independent variable and one dependent variable, we call it simple linear regression. Okay, linear regression, guys, it's called linear regression kasi when we plot your variables, your x and your y, dapat makikita natin even visually that yung relationship nila seems to take on a linear pattern. So, kasi kung hindi linear yung pattern, guys, then magkakaproblema tayo, no? Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin si linear regression. Pwede lang natin gamitin yung other forms of regression but not linear regression. Okay. So how about multiple regression? As I mentioned a while ago, it involves two or more explanatory variables, no? Dalawang variables ang ginagamit natin para i-explain yung ating independent variable. Alright. Now, sabi ko nga kanina, magagamit lang natin, guys, si linear regression kung yung relationships ng dalawang variables natin is linear. So let me illustrate that very quickly. So for example, guys, andito yung may plot tayo dito, no? Ito si X natin, ito si Y natin. When we plot the two, so dapat ganyan yung lumalabas, no? So we can now estimate this, okay? Because that's what linear regression does, no? Nag-estimate tayo ng line, okay? Kaysa pag ganito, kunyari nag-plot ulit tayo, tapos ganito yung relationship nila. Okay. So if you take a look at this one, ito pwede natin gamitan ng simple linear regression to, but not for this, no? Kasi hindi naman mukhang linear yung relationship nila, mukhang curvilinear siya. Okay, but yung curvilinear regression, guys, polynomial regression, etc., will not be covered in this class. Okay, so let's go to the next worksheet. Any questions so far, guys? Now, I would, guys, that you open also the PowerPoint which I sent. May PowerPoint akong sinend sa inyo. Okay, itong first dito, there are notes there that can help you review yung regression concepts. All right, so let's go to this first worksheet. Now sa regression, guys, when you're doing regression, first and foremost, kailangan ma-plot natin yung data natin. Lagi yan, guys, no? Always plot your data para makita natin yung relationship nila. What's the relationship between your two variables of interest? So here we have education, and you have your hourly wage. So these are the two variables that we want to look into, yung relationship nila. Usually sa Excel, guys, kailangan ilalagay mo muna yung independent variable mo, in this case, education, and yung dependent variable natin, hourly wage. So we're here to investigate yung relationship ng education and then hourly wage. Is there a relationship? Is there an association between your sandali, mukhang hindi nakikita yung no? Sa yung next quiz, Sophia. The last quiz will be on regression. No? Okay, so tapos kasama din sa finals itong regression. Okay, so as I was saying, guys, kailangan i-plot muna natin. So sa education at saka si hourly wage, we're trying to establish the relationship between education and hourly wage. So saan nanggaling tong data na to? Okay, so may mga ilang tao ang in-interview dito. We have how many respondents for our data? 526 respondents, no? 526 respondents, and these people were surveyed or interviewed. Inalam kung ilan years of education nila, Tapos ilan yung hourly wage. This is real data guys, coming from US data to. Hindi ko nalinagay yung buong data set. For the meantime, ito na muna. Pero dito guys, gagamitin natin yan. Ito yung full data set niyan. This is the full data set. Okay, so let's go back here. Hourly wage. Okay, so first guys, i-plot natin. When you plot sa Excel, dapat una muna yung x-axis. Sa regression guys, yung x-axis, that will be your independent variable. That will be your explanatory variable. And then your y will be your response variable or outcome variable. So plot natin to. You can do this. So pwedeng highlight natin. Highlight natin yung data set natin. And then insert. Then here you have the charts. And then let's use a scatter plot. Yan. Tanggalin ko na lang yung mga... Okay. Any questions so far, guys? Okay, of course, pwede natin i-modify ng konti ito. Huh? So, when you click this, pwede natin i-add to. Plus, we can add axis titles. Sa Y natin, axis title natin dito, you can go to the formula bar is equal to, this is our hourly wage. Enter. Bago siya dito. Axis title natin dito. Go to the click this. Go to the formula bar is equal to education. Enter. Bago siya. Tapos yung axis title natin, yung chart title, palitan natin to. Then go to formula bar is equal to, link natin to. Is there a relationship between education and hourly wage? Bold ko na lang. Okay, pause lang muna ako. Questions? So far, we're able to plot, guys. Okay, thank you, Anton. Okay, Sophia, thank you. The rest, guys, na-plot nyo na ba? Okay, thank you. Sige, John, thank you for that question. Sige, ulitin ko yung process, ha? Okay, sige. Delete ko ulit, no? So we'd like to plot yung education at saka hourly wage natin. The first thing to do is make sure that your X data, yung independent variable natin, should be on the first column. Otherwise, guys, yun ang default ni Excel. Uunahin niya yung first column. It will be your X and this is your Y. So that's why there's a particular reason why inuna ko yung education at saka yung hourly wage. So, bakit ganun guys? Kasi dito, ang ini-establish natin, gusto natin malaman kung ano yung relationship ni education at saka ni hourly wage. May may marginal effect ba si education kay hourly wage? Ibig sabihin kung nag-i-increase ba yung yung education, nag-i-increase ba rin yung hourly wage? Now take note, I'm not saying guys na education causes hourly wage. I'm just saying that si education ba nakaka-affect kay hourly wage and not necessarily causing hourly wage. Hindi siya causality but rather a relationship, an association in the sense that kapag tumaas yung isa, tumataas ba rin yung isa. No? Kapag tumaas ba si education, tataas ba rin si hourly wage. That's not necessarily causality. No? It's a relationship or association. So again guys, highlight natin yung data natin. Okay, so shortcut, i-highlight yun yung first first row, then control shift down arrow to go down to the last. Huwag nyo i-scroll guys yung mouse kasi matagal yun. Lalo na kung millions yung laman ng data natin, it will take you forever. Alright, so here guys, i-plot natin yung data natin, insert, and then here's the charts. And you have, let's use the scatter plot. Okay, scatter plot. So ito yung scatter plot natin. Okay. So i-delete ko lang yung mga grid lines yan para mas clear yung plot natin. Now we can do some we can improve this chart kasi walang y-axis, walang x-axis sa yung pangalan ng chart. Gusto natin yung pangalan ito, is there a relationship? So when you click the chart, so nagkakaroon ng plus button dito, chart elements, no? Or you can go here, add chart elements, andito din siya, yun. Pareho lang siya. So I'll go here, and then first, let me modify our axis titles. I'll click this. So primary horizontal, ito yon. Primary vertical, ito. So how do I now change this? Pag naka-highlight na to axis title na to, you go to the formula bar is equal to y natin, hourly wage. Okay, mas maganda yung ganun guys kasi kaysa i-type nyo dito, para pag pinalitan nyo to, kunyari pinalitan nyo yung title na to, automatically magpapalit din yung ano natin, yung title dito. How about this one? Click nyo to, then again, go to the formula bar is equal to yung education. By linking it here guys, pag pinalitan nyo tong title na to, automatic magpapalit din to. Then enter. Okay, so education na siya. And then for the title, let's make it is equal to, is there a relationship? Yan. Bold ko na lang para mas kita. Okay. Hourly wage ito, education ito. Okay. Any questions? Pause muna ako. May questions ba? Okay. So far, nakahabol ba guys? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Alright. Thank you guys ha. So ito na yung ano natin, ito na yung plot natin. Okay. Thank you. This is already our plot. Okay. Now regression guys is all about establishing a quantitative relationship between the two variables. So pag sinabi natin quantitative, may mathematical equation yan. And since we're using simple linear regression, then we will be establishing a line, okay? And that line has an equation. Pag na-establish natin equation ng line na yan, then that means that we have already established the relationship. We're now able to describe your dependent variable, hourly wage, using education. And then we can now also predict. So when we are able to formulate a line, a regression line, then we're able to answer our objective in trying to establish or in describing the variable of interest, which is your dependent variable, in this case, hourly wage, as described by your education. And then secondly, we're also able to predict or estimate your dependent variable hourly wage using our regression line. So ganun guys ang bottom line natin sa regression. Ma-describe natin si dependent variable natin using the independent variables. Kung isa lang yung independent variable, simple regression lang siya. Kung marami, multiple regression. Okay? So that's how we do it. And not only that, guys, we're able to predict Now, si Excel guys, may mga quick method siya in order to establish this relationship. So we can use the Excel tool, an Excel tool here. So just go to your plot and then just click, right click anywhere here, just any point here in your chart. And then automatically this dialog box will appear. So this box will appear and we're going to choose add trend line. Okay. Add trend line, makikita natin dito guys, may mga options tayo. Exponential, pag ganito yung shape, logarithmic, polynomial, power, moving average, etc. Now, since linear yung tinitingnan natin guys, and it looks like more linear naman yung relationship nila, although may problem tayo guys dun sa sa habang yung and other points medyo malalayo so we're going to use linear. Okay, so the default is linear, and then below we're going to click this display equation on chart and then display r squared value on chart. So click natin to. Okay, then you'll see in your plot na may lumabas dito, no? Okay, so let me close this and then let me reposition this. Then increase the font. Then maybe color it red. Okay, did you get this, guys? Did you get this? Okay, yes, guys? Okay, good. All right, so now this is our equation. This is what we call your regression line. And it's this line. Baguhin nga natin yung ano nito. So let me format this. So if I click this line, just right click here. So pwede natin yan chart tools, format natin, format. Shape outline. Okay. Solid line lang gamitin natin, guys. Then wait, gawin natin. Yeah. Okay, so this is our regression line, guys. No? And this equation is defined by, what is our y, guys? What's our y? Our y is hourly wage, diba? Y, which is our hourly wage, is equal to ads. So let me just, liitan ko lang to. Control 1, subscript. Okay. Oops, mali. Highlight ko lang to, guys, then Control 1 or Command 1 yata sa Mac will put out the font dialog box, tapos isa-subscript ko lang siya. Ito, subscript para nakababa lang siya. No? Okay, just for visualization. Tapos nawala tong hourly wage. Pati dapat ito, ito. Control 1, subscript. Okay, so our equation is y, which is our hourly wage, is equal to 0.5414 times x minus 0.9049. Okay, and then we have the r squared there. So very quickly, let's just discuss this. Okay, so this is our regression line, guys. And you notice here that there's this variable, there's this value, this coefficient 0.54. This is what you call your slope. And this is the marginal effect of odds on hourly wage. Ano ibig sabihin ng 0.54 na to? This is interpreted as for every $1 change in odds. Bakit dollar, guys? Kasi si odds, ay sorry, ako mali. Mali. This is education. Ba't ba naging ano? Odds. Education, no? So what does that mean, guys? For every 1 year increase in education, bakit year? Kasi education is in years. So dapat titingnan natin yung parameters, yung dimension ng variable. For every 1 year increase in education, there's a corresponding $0.54 per hour increase in hourly wage. Yun ang ibig sabihin nitong 0.54 na to. Okay? Now, itong negative 0.90, this is your intercept. And what's the interpretation of your intercept? The intercept is the value of your y when x is equal to 0. Okay? Although in this case, guys, parang wala siyang meaning, parang wala siyang practical significance kasi hindi naman pa pwedeng negative yung hourly wage, di ba? Ang sinasabi nitong negative 0.9 na to, if the person has zero education, which is also highly unlikely kasi wala namang zero dito sa education dito, then ang hourly wage daw is negative 0.9. Ano ibig sabihin ng negative 0.9? Yung empleyado pa magbabayad dun sa company, no? Okay, so we don't put too much physical significance to the intercept. But what's important is that we use it to model. Ginagamit pa rin natin siya to model our dependent variable. Okay, tapos ano ibig sabihin nitong r squared na to? R squared is it's called your r squared is your coefficient. Ang tawag dyan, guys, coefficient of determination. Okay, ano yung coefficient of determination? Which is 0.16 or 16%. Ibig sabihin yan, guys, okay, highlight ko dito, control 1, superscript ko, nakataas. R squared. That's called your coefficient of determination, and that means, guys, that 16% of the variation of the variance of y, your hourly wage, can be explained by your education. Okay, so 16%, guys, ng variability ni hourly wage kayang i-explain ni education. Okay, so mataas ba yun? Well, relatively, guys, we can't, it should only be answered in a relative sense, no? Basta ang sinasabi natin na kayang i-explain ng education si hourly wage ng 16.48%. E paano yung 80+%, yung 83 point something percent? Well, it means that it can be explained by other variables, no? But not by education. Ang kaya lang i-explain ng education kay hourly wage is 16.48%. Okay, clear so far, guys? Pause muna tayo. Clear so far? Okay. Thank you, Anton. Stephen, thank you. Okay. Joycel, thank you. Okay, good. Dom, salamat, no? Okay, so moving on, guys. Ang tanong, paano na-determine ni ano to? Paano na-determine ni Excel ito equation na to? Now, there can only be one and only one given two variables, guys. Pwedeng iisa lang ang pwedeng regression line, no? This is unique to this pair of variables. You cannot have any other regression line. And the method used in determining this line is what we call, ang tawag dun sa method na yan, guys, In determining your regression line, it's called your, sorry, OLS, no? OLS. What's OLS? It's your ordinary least squares. Okay? OLS, ordinary least squares, or it's also called method of least squares. Okay, we'll explain this as we go along. All right. Now, in order to understand better, guys, yung concept ng regression, linear regression, there are some things we need to know. No? Now, ultimately, we want to determine, guys, yung equation. This is our equation. Ito yung equation natin. Y. Now, the hat there, guys, yung hat dito, you notice the hat here, may hat tayo dito. Y hat, guys. Pag nakita nyo, guys, yung hat, ibig sabihin, predicted, no? Predicted value. Okay, so let me just explain that. So we're trying to establish a relationship between your variable y is your dependent variable, and sa regression, guys, we say that it's equal to a certain, this is your intercept plus your slope, okay, plus a certain error term. Okay, this is the general equation of a regression line. Y sub I is equal to your intercept plus the slope times your independent variable plus a certain error term. Bakit may error term, guys? Kasi yung model natin, if you take a look at our diagram, guys, kunyari, ito yung value natin, di ba? Ito yung line value natin. Tapos ito yung actual value. So may discrepancy, may error term dyan. Kunyari ito, sa point na to. Okay, so this is our predicted value. This is our actual value. So para maging equal siya, okay, see that there's an error term, a residual there. Ibig sabihin, hindi tumama dun sa regression line natin yung actual value. So for example, for 3.1, okay, ang tanong dyan, ano ba yung predicted value ni 3.1? Kunyari, ito siya, no? Ang predicted value natin, ito. Pero ang actual value natin, ito. So, assuming this is 3.1, guys, I'm only guessing, no? So, hindi siya tumama sa model natin. So, may error siya, no? Yung height na to. That's why when we write our model, we indicate this. Error term. Now, ito naman, anong kaibahan nito? What's the difference between this way to write it and this way to write it? Ito, guys, may y hat. No? Y hat, and it's equal to beta null plus beta 1 times x1 times x sub I. Notice na wala siyang plus error term. Kasi dito ang mini-measure natin, guys, yung predicted value. No? Okay, magkaiba, guys, si y sub I at saka si y hat sub I. Ito yung predicted value. Predicted value siya. Ito yung actual value. So pag minodel natin si ano, guys, si yi is the actual value and it's equal to your predicted value, which is this one. Ito yung predicted value natin, guys, no? Predicted value. Kaso, guys, hindi magkakapareho yan kasi sabi nga natin, ang model natin straight line lang eh. So hindi yung ibang points doon hindi tatama sa straight line. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na error term dito, no? So this is the relationship between your actual value and your predicted value. And importante guys to, yung error term na to, yung hindi tumatama dun sa regression line natin. Kasi yung method natin na tinatawag na OLS, ordinary least squares, is dependent on your residual, no? Which I'm going to explain in a while. Okay. So punta na tayo. Punta na tayo muna dito, guys. Now, sabi natin, it's important, guys, to understand what we're going through here. Sabi natin, ang objective natin is to explain the relationship between your two variables. Now, there are two ways to explain the relationship between your variables. No? Mathematically, pwede natin kunin to. This is your covariance or pwedeng correlation. So, two ways to explain the relationship between two variables. We can use the covariance way or the correlation way. So let's start first with covariance. If you recall from your stat, guys, what's the formula for variance? Naalala yung formula for variance, guys? Okay, kunyari kinukuha natin yung variance na x. It's equal to what? It's the sum of your x minus x bar. So ang ginagawa natin, guys, kino-compare natin yung individual points na x minus x bar, and then in-square natin to, then divided by n minus 1. Okay? If you recall, guys, yung standard deviation is simply s, and then kinukuha natin square root nito. Alright, then it's, we know that this is also equal to summation of x minus x bar times x minus x bar and minus 1. Okay? So it's a cross product of the deviations of your x from your mean multiplied by the deviation of your x from your mean, no? X of I. Yeah, this is just squared. Now we have another concept called covariance. And covariance is written this way. Okay, take note, guys, walang square dito. This is covariance of x and y. Okay, this is the variance of x, or this can be written as sxx. So yung sx squared, pareho lang yan sa sxx. Okay, so just be familiar with the nomenclature, kung paano sila pinapangalanan. So this is the covariance of x. Covariance of x and x. Or that's the variance of x. So yung covariance of x and x, you're just getting the cross product of x with x itself. Pag covariance naman of x and y, the formula becomes the cross product of x, their deviations from their mean. Yan, guys. Yan, sorry, summation to. Isa-sum up natin siya. Okay, so this is the covariance of x and y. So how do you measure the association or the relationship between two variables? We use two things, either the covariance or the correlation. So dalawang ano yan, guys, dalawang way in order to describe the relationship between two variables, no? Covariance of the two variables, in this case, s, x, y, okay? Another one is the correlation. Okay, mas magandang ginagamit yung correlation, guys, pero explain muna natin si covariance. And this is the formula for covariance. Pause muna ako. Any questions so far, guys? Clear ba yung formula? Paki-yes lang, guys, kung clear yung formula. So as to the question, how do you describe the relationship between the two variables? Mathematically, guys, gagamitan natin ng covariance, no? And you're actually getting the cross product of the deviations of your variable, of the value of the variable from its mean. So kinuha natin yung yung deviation ng x with its mean, deviation ng y with its mean, and then we get the cross product. And then divided by n minus 1. So that's your covariance of x with y. All right, so let's compute this mathematically here. So nag-ano na ako ng dalawang columns dito para mabilis yung natin, guys. So we're going to compute for this one, and then we're going to compute for this one. And then from here, guys, from here, i-compute natin to. No? And then try to see if, so we're looking at it mathematically, but later mapapakita natin na mas mabilis i-compute sa Excel yan. Pero ano muna tayo, guys, yung foundational, no? Alright, so covariance, ano yung kailangan natin sa covariance? Kailangan natin, guys, yung n at saka yung cross product nila, no? Okay, so kailangan mo natin yung count. So, count natin, count ng values natin. So, here, up to here. Alright, 526 yung n natin, no? 526. So therefore, this is just n minus 1. Okay, n minus 1, no? And then x bar, guys, x bar is the average of your x. So this is equal to average. This is your x. So the average is around 13, 12.56. Y bar naman, average. And this is our y. Okay, clear so far, guys? Okay, sige. So, let's stop there. Let's do some so, may question? Not necessarily naman, no? Not necessarily. Kasi kahit na ang tanong kung may kailangan daw ng decimal, kasi kunyari kung walang decimal yan, okay, it's still, ang actual value yan is not 13, but 12.56 something. No? You can increase the decimal. For our purposes, guys, dinagyan ko lang ng decimal para alam natin na it's not actually 13, but it's a number. No? But if you, n minus 1, sorry yung n minus 1 is just, count minus 1 lang. Okay, minus lang natin to. Kasi yun ang kailangan natin para sa formula n minus 1. Okay, so let's first get the deviations x of I minus x bar. Okay, so ito, and dito yung x minus x bar, y minus y bar, and then i-multiply natin to, no? So let's do this. And this is equal to x minus our x bar is this one. Yan ang x bar natin. Okay, and then we have to fix this, no? We have to fix that. You can fix that, or no need to fix the column U. So pwede to, guys. No need to fix the column kasi nga ikakopy natin pababa ito, no? Hindi naman nagbabago yung position ng column natin. So you can either use that one, ibig sabihin naka-fix siya dyan. I was pressing F4, no? Then Control Enter. So we can add maybe one decimal place here. Oops. Okay? Tapos ito naman si y is equal to y minus y bar natin, ito. And then we have to fix that also. Control enter. Ganun natin ang decimal places. Kahit isa lang. And then, kailangan natin cross product. This one times this one. Okay, then after doing this, guys, mamaya natin kunin to, no? So dito, guys, we can now click this. Okay, so that gives us now the, yeah. Okay, clear so far, guys? Nakahabol ba up to x, the cross product of your x? Until y bar. Okay, sandali ha. Until y bar, okay, sorry, Pierre. Sa y bar, ito, average lang siya. X bar is simply the average of your x. No? Ang x natin kasi si education. So that's from A2 up to A527. So ito siya, no? Average nito. Tapos yung isa naman is just your average ng y natin. Okay, good. Alright, any other questions? Tapos dito ba, nakahabol kayo dito? So dito, it's just education minus the average. And then we have to fix this kasi ikakopy natin pababa, no? And the average value should not change its position. Ganun din dito, y minus y bar, this is your y bar. And then cross product natin. Okay. Now, ang kailangan natin dito, guys, ito, summation ng x minus x bar times y minus y bar. We already have this, x minus x bar times y minus y bar. Okay, so let's go here below. I-total natin siya, no? Alt. Okay. Take a look at this, guys, yung mga totals natin. Okay, did you get 0,02179.2? 0, guys, yung when we added yung first column natin, it's the deviation of your x from your x bar. And also the y minus y bar. You should be getting a 0 here, guys. Kasi that's the definition, guys, of the mean. Yung mean, guys, itong x bar na to, if you subtract all your data points from the mean and sum it up, di ba dito ang kinuha natin x minus x bar, tapos sinum up natin siya sa dulo, it will always be equal to 0. That's the meaning of the mean, guys, no? Ganun din si y. Y minus y bar, and then isum up natin siya, it will always be equal to 0. Then ito naman yung cross product ng x deviations at saka y deviations to 179.2. This is now, ito na yon, guys. Ito na, no? This is now your covariance of X and Y. Alright, clear so far guys? Ito SXY na to, ito yan guys, covariance of X and Y. So we can now link this is equal to it's here. No? So sabi natin ang covariance guys is the sum of this divided by n minus 1. Check nga guys, ano na? Covariance of X with Y is the sum of the cross product, which is your Q528, divided by your U3, which is your n minus 1. So that's around covariance. Okay, clear so far, guys? Any questions? Clear? Okay, no questions? All right. We won't use this, guys. Ito na lang yung isang gamitin natin. Meron din formula, guys, na covariance. No? Covariance dot P. Yung dot P dyan, guys, is population. Since this is not the total population. It's just a sample. We use covariance dot S or covar S. Okay, covariance dot S. Tapos ano yung mga hinihingi? RA1 is your X value, comma, RA2 is your Y value. Oops. Okay, so it's covariance.s. Okay. All right, so we get the same answer, no? All right. Then, guys, okay, so ano sinasabi guys ng covariance measure nila? Okay, so si covariance guys, remember ang covariance, diba? It can be used to explain the relationship or association between two variables. Sabi natin dito, ito, diba? We use covariance to describe the relationship between two variables. So in our case, it's equal to 4.15, no? Ang problema natin guys, itong 4.15, si covariance, hindi natin hindi natin ma-explain yung strength of the relationship. Kasi when we try to establish the relationship between two variables, kailangan natin dalawa. Direction at saka yung strength ng relationship nila. So when we talk of relationship or association, or association. Okay. Association. So si covariance guys, direction lang binibigay natin, ibibigay nito, direction lang. While on the other hand, ito, si correlation, it will give us both direction and the strength of the relationship. Okay? So quickly guys, ulitin ko ah. So sabi natin, there are different ways to explain the relationship between two variables. No? Yung relationship ng dependent variable natin at saka independent variable natin. One way is quantitative. Yung quantitative guys, dalawang klase yan. Pwede natin gamitin si covariance at saka si correlation. Si covariance guys, ang kaya niya lang i-explain is the direction. In what way? Ito positive, no? Positive 4.15. So we can now deduce that there's a positive relationship between education and hourly wage. What does that mean? Kung nag-i-increase si education, nag-i-increase din si hourly wage. Kung bumababa si education, bumababa din si hourly wage. That's what we mean by the direction of the relationship. But as to the strength of the relationship, we don't know. We can't explain that using covariance. Kasi anong ibig sabihin ng 4.15? Okay? So pag gusto natin i-describe yung strength ng relationship, we don't use covariance. Pwede natin magamit instead si correlation. Okay? So clear so far guys? So dito, ang sinasabi natin dito, 4.15, ang ibig sabihin nito, positive. So there's a positive relationship, positive association between education and hourly wage. Ibig sabihin, pag tumataas si education, pag nag-i-increase si education, nag-i-increase din si hourly wage. Pag bumababa si education, bumababa din si hourly wage by way of covariance. No? But there's a better measure, and sabi natin, yun yung correlation. And si correlation, guys, tingnan yung formula niya. Correlation is actually ito, yung numerator ito. But what is this? Can somebody please tell me what this is? Ano itong nasa numerator ni correlation? What's this, guys? This is your... Yeah, thank you. Correct, no? Yeah, that's your covariance, no? Salamat, no? Covariance to. So this is just your... This is your SXY. So ibig sabihin pala nun guys, si correlation is just equal to the covariance between X and Y divided by the standard deviation of X and the standard deviation of Y. I'm sure guys na ano na to, na-meet na to sa stat nyo, no? This is standard deviation of X, this is standard deviation of Y. So si correlation pala, standardized lang yan na ano na covariance, no? That's why guys, standardized siya. Si correlation ranges from -1 RXY to 1. Kasi standardized value to, no? So it only ranges from -1 to 1. So si correlation again, ang mga ano niya, ang bound siya -1 to 1. Kasi nga it's actually covariance na dinivide lang natin dun sa product ng mga standard deviation sila. And this is the reason why we can also explain the strength of the relationship between X and Y by virtue of the fact that this value has been standardized and up to -1 up to +1 and any values in between. No? Okay, so gawin natin to guys. But before we do this, kailangan natin si standard deviation ni X at saka standard deviation ni Y. So let's do that. So we can get the standard deviation sa Excel. It's stdev.s, no? stdev.s. Copy na natin. Sorry, para hindi na... Oops. Okay, anyway. Standard deviation ni X is our education. And standard deviation in y is st dev is your y value. Okay, so we now have the standard deviation of x. We now have the standard deviation of y. We have the covariance of x and y. We can now solve for your correlation. Okay, so let's use this formula. So this is equal to the covariance of x and y. You have that here, divided by standard deviation of x and y. So we can use the product function divided by the product of standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. Okay, yun yung formula, guys. Huh? I'll pause for a while for you to be able to catch up. Okay, control enter. Okay, are you getting 0.405, guys? Bilis sa oras, grabe. Okay, thank you. Huh? So, tapos sila natin to. So, you can also compute this using Corel function. May Corel function si Excel returns the correlation coefficient between two data sets. No? So, correlation. No? So, uh, copying ko na lang to. So, it could be between B or pwedeng M and N yata yung yan. So, that's the correlation, guys. No? Tama ba? So, mali. Hindi ko na-copy yung, sorry. 527 pala. 52, sorry, hindi ko nasama yung 7. 527. Yan, okay? And then, you can use another function, Pearson. No? The Pearson function in Excel will also give you dapat may 7 to. Okay, so, okay, dito guys, since this is just a review guys, kindly read on yung correlation. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng correlation na 1 or -1 or any number in between. No? So it's time already. No? Okay, so also, request ko lang guys, pwedeng pakisubukan i-solve to. Pwedeng pakisubukan i-solve to using this formula. So yung slope guys, kasi di ba yung regression, let me just end in this one guys. This one is actually equal to itong B1 guys. Ang complete formula niyan is may n-1 yan sa then divided by Okay, tingnan yung formula guys. Actually, may over n minus 1 yan. Parehong may 1 minus 1 yan. No? Ito may over n minus 1 to. N minus 1. Ito may over n minus 1 din. But since they're common, kinancel siya. But what's the numerator, guys? What is the numerator? This is what? That's the covariance, di ba? So B1 is actually the covariance of x and y divided by what? What's this? X minus x bar sum squared over n minus 1. That's your variance of x. Okay, or that's the same as covariance of x with y divided by the covariance of x with x. So the covariance of x with x is simply the variance of x. All right, so let's stop there, guys. Kung pwede pakigawa, no? Tapos ipo-post ko rin, guys, yung hanggang dulo nito para over the weekend pwede yes, I'm going to upload, yes, clear. I'm going to upload the recording today. Tapos mag-upload pa ako, guys, ng recording na continued to. No? Kinontinue ko. Okay. Alright? So, thank you so much, guys. Sorry for, thank you so much for your patience. So let